Hello, Reds fans. Welcome to the YNWA Transfer News Channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your daily latest news.
Getafe president reacts after reports Liverpool owners FSG want to buy the club from him now. Liverpool have had a couple of impressive campaigns over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Arne Slot managed to deliver the Premier League title at the first time of asking, and Jurgen Klopp also got ever so close to delivering his second top-flight title. Although everyone knew that Klopp had built a strong team, nobody expected them to come out on top last term. Many expected the Anfield outfit to undergo a rebuilding phase, but instead, they've arguably done better under the Dutchman than they did under Klopp. And during the 2025-26 summer transfer window, Fenway Sports Group, FSG, also seem to have changed their tone as Richard Hughes and Slot have spent almost £200 million on new arrivals. In addition to this, as many fans will know, John Henry and co. are looking for a new club to buy so they can start their multi-club model, with Getafe's president now responding to those exact claims. FSG won't be buying Getafe as they are not for sale. For the past few years, FSG have been looking at potential La Liga clubs they could invest in to start their multi-club model. Obviously, Liverpool would be at the forefront, but they need some feeder clubs from other nations to try and get the best talent from across the globe. At the moment, however, Getafe seem to be the frontrunners. And while speaking to Spanish outlet COPE, Getafe's president Angel Torres has given an insight into whether FSG are actually looking to buy the La Liga outfit. No. It's Getafe, been for sale since I arrived. I've been here for 25 years, and every year a journalist comes out saying, "And now it's Liverpool," he said. "But it's not for sale. One day I'll have to leave. But it's a long way off." FSG not buying Getafe could be good news for Liverpool. The amount of money that FSG have already spent on bolstering Liverpool's ranks this season is somewhat obscene. The American businessmen have spent close to £200 million on improving the Reds' ranks and are looking to make the Anfield outfit one of the most dominant forces in football. However, if their attention and money were turned elsewhere to a team such as Getafe, then there would be fewer funds for the Reds to work with. At the end of the day, while a multi-club model would likely be beneficial for Liverpool in the long run, at the moment, it feels like the best thing for FSG to do is keep all of their eggs in one basket. Liverpool have had a really lucky escape as £64 million striker decides he's signing for another club. There's no hiding from the fact that Liverpool are in the market for a new striker this season. Arne Slot has long been linked with several number 9s since the transfer window opened, but nothing has yet come to fruition. And with Darwin Nunez still likely to be on his way out of Anfield, the Reds' need for a striker has never been greater. But seeing as though Slot and Richard Hughes have already spent close to £200 million on new arrivals, some players are going to have to be sold to fund the transfer of a new number 9. As mentioned, a fair few strikers have been linked with Liverpool over the last month or so, with one now deciding where he wants to see out the next stage of his career. Liverpool have been handed a gift after Victor Osimhen has chosen to move to Galatasaray. Victor Osimhen is a striker who has been linked with several clubs from across the globe. Teams such as Manchester United, Al Hilal and Liverpool have all been rumored to be interested in the Nigeria international. In the end, however, it seems like Osimhen has chosen to continue his career with Galatasaray with just the transfer fee left to negotiate. And while Liverpool fans may feel disheartened that another striker is off the market, they may have actually had a lucky escape by not signing him. Victor Osimhen would have been bad news for Liverpool. Over the last year or so, Osimhen has spent a season in Turkey as he wanted to force his way out of Napoli. After his Premier League move failed to capitalize, the Turkish Super League was the only choice left for him, and while he may have done well, the stir he caused to get out left a sour taste in some fans' mouths. In addition to this, when the summer transfer window first opened, Osimhen was on the cusp of joining Al Hilal, but the move fell through as he didn't feel like they were offering him enough money. And with the money Saudi Pro League clubs give their players, it's hard to fathom how much he'd actually want. At the moment, these are all still reports with nothing official yet confirmed, but on the face of things, it could end up being one of the best things to have happened to Slot and co. Darwin Nunez should be very careful about his next transfer after seeing what's happened to £71 million player. Liverpool have spent big this summer, so all the expectations are for them to make some sales. The Reds are not quite finished just yet, and a striker is one of their top priorities, although they are yet to nail down a specific target. Many names are linked, but what is almost guaranteed is that whoever comes through the door at Anfield, they will replace Darwin Nunez rather than compete alongside him. The Uruguayan has failed to hit the heights that many expected him to reach when he first signed from Benfica back in 2022, with the 26-year-old missing far too many chances in his 3 seasons. Arne Slot's patience has appeared to wear thin as well, with the Dutchman simply not trusting him anymore on the big occasions and often leaving him on the bench. A move away looks best for both parties, but Nunez needs to choose his next destination wisely for the sake of his own career, and he can perhaps learn a lot from the mistakes of a recent £70 million player. Darwin Nunez should not make the same mistake as Johan Duran. Towards the start of last season, Johan Duran was managing to keep Ollie Watkins out of the Aston Villa squad, and he looked like one of Europe's hottest talents. He then made a surprising move to Saudi Arabia in a deal worth £71 million, although it has turned into an absolute nightmare. Despite only making the switch in January, the Colombian left after just 6 months to join Fenerbahce on loan, with the 21-year-old struggling for form. Nunez has also been linked with Al Nassr and a reunion with his former boss Jorge Jesus, but this should act as a reminder why he should stay in Europe. The 26-year-old appears to favor a move to teams on the continent, with Napoli very keen, although slight financial implications suggest that may now not happen. Duran's career is, of course, far from over, but at such a young age, he should have moved to a team that will develop his ability while competing at the top level. Instead, he has delayed his progress significantly. Nunez needs to avoid suffering the same fate as at 26 because after a poor 3 seasons at Anfield, his next move could prove vital. The Saudi Pro League is not an attractive proposition this summer. At one point, it looked as if the Saudi League was here to take over as they were attracting all the biggest names, albeit players of a certain age. Their next tactic, however, has not exactly gone to plan, with the kingdom looking to bring in younger players to improve the credibility of the division. But Duran's transfer has put a dent into their plans, and journalist Ben Jacobs believes that the league could be in serious trouble. Hence, Nunez should opt against the move. This, Duran leaving, is more of a blow than when Jordan Henderson left because it is one of the big PIF clubs, and the whole point of Duran was that he was built as the young profile that Saudi were moving towards, so Phase 2 was all about peak players rather than star names over the age of 30. Jacobs told TalkSport. He's only been there since January, he didn't settle, and now we're in a situation where one of the most expensive signings, and one of the youngest and prized assets, is leaving Cristiano Ronaldo's club and has had second thoughts. We are definitely seeing a struggle with Saudi clubs getting deals over the line, and now we have to see how aggressive clubs are, because there are more exits than incomings at the moment in Saudi Arabia. Nunez certainly has the ability, he just needs to find a team who will stick by him and give him the confidence to excel, and Al Nassr do not look like the team that can give him this. Arne Slot may miss out on one of his dream transfers as Arsenal admire wonderful Liverpool target. Arne Slot defied the odds and managed to make Liverpool Premier League champions last season. Many expected the Anfield outfit to struggle without Jurgen Klopp at the helm, but instead, they seemed to have thrived. Liverpool were one of the most dominant teams in the top flight, and although their Champions League campaign was brought to an abrupt end, they still proved their worth. Despite the Reds being rather dominant, however, there were still a couple of weak spots in their team, which Slot has tried to strengthen since the start of June. And while the arrivals of Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez will no doubt improve Liverpool's team tenfold, there are still a couple of positions that could do with an upgrade. Liverpool may miss out on the transfer of Anthony Gordon as Arsenal show interest. One of the main areas that Slot's first-team squad looks weak in at the moment is their attack. Both Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez are still rumored to want out, with Diaz even ready to tell Liverpool that he wants to leave. Of course, several attackers have been linked with an Anfield switch this summer, but a rumor that seems to have been around for a while now is Anthony Gordon. Last season, the Reds tried to sign him while Newcastle were having PSR problems, but in the end, nothing came to fruition. And now, according to a report from The Athletic, Gordon is now admired by Arsenal. The Gunners have also done significant background work on Rodrigo, with preliminary talks even being held regarding a potential move. But since Gordon has Premier League experience already, it's clear to see why Mikel Arteta's men would be interested in a move for the attacker. Liverpool need to throw everything they can at signing Anthony Gordon before Arsenal. Before the 2025-26 season gets properly underway, there are still a couple of players that Liverpool need to sign. Gordon has long been linked with a move to Anfield, but with other top 6 clubs showing an interest, it feels like it could be now or never for Liverpool to get their man. The former Everton ace was once described as a wonderful player by Troy Deeney due to his performance he'd put in for Newcastle against Arsenal. Much like Diaz, he's naturally a left winger, but when Callum Wilson and Alexander Isak were both injured for the Magpies last term, he was also used at striker. Of course, only time will tell what the future has in store, but for now, it feels like the Reds need to be gearing themselves up for a move, or they could risk losing out on the Englishman. Diogo Jota's 65 goals for Liverpool FC. Watch every strike from Arsenal to Everton. Diogo Jota scored 65 goals in his 182 games for Liverpool, with the club releasing a compilation of every strike from the Portuguese, from Arsenal to Everton. In many ways, Jota's first goal for Liverpool set the tone, a scruffy effort which left Arsenal goalkeeper Bernd Leno stranded as it trickled into the far bottom corner. That came in his second appearance for the club and his first in the Premier League, with the Portuguese making an instant impact as he laid a marker for what would be genuine competition for Jurgen Klopp's legendary front three. Jota outlasted both Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane and remained invaluable throughout his 5 seasons with the club, including 37 appearances for Arne Slot. He scored 65 goals in total, 47 in the Premier League, 6 in the Carabao Cup, 5 in the Champions League, 4 in the FA Cup and 3 in the Europa League. 53 of those came as a starter and a further 12 from the bench, while 23 were classed as match winners, including his last for the club as he decided the Merseyside Derby in April. Jota's most prolific season came in 2021 of 22, with 21 goals in 55 games. His only hat-trick for the club came in the 5-0 thrashing of Atlanta in his debut campaign. He was dangerous with his right foot, left foot, and despite standing at 5 feet 10 inches, his head, with 13 of his goals being headers. Having scored his first for the club against Arsenal, the Gunners became his favourite foe, with his 7 goals against the London side the most he managed against any opponent. Arguably Jota's best goal was his turn and blasted finish against Everton to cap a 4-1 victory at Goodison Park in December 2021. But his most impactful was almost certainly the winner as Liverpool came back to beat Tottenham 4-3 in April 2023, coming seconds after Richarlison scored to make it 3-3 and making his gamer celebration iconic. Jota will no longer line up in the attack at Anfield, or anywhere else for that matter, but his goals can still be enjoyed for years to come. His ability to find the back of the net from the most awkward of situations is one Liverpool will undoubtedly miss, one of the best finishers the club has seen. Newcastle barge Liverpool aside in Mark Guehi race with how hopeful of transfer sting. Liverpool hopes of signing Mark Guehi are coming under a serious threat from Newcastle, with manager Eddie Howe refusing to give up on a deal, though any hopes of signing the Crystal Palace star on the cheap appear to have vanished. The England defender will be out of contract at Selhurst Park in less than a year from now, and with the 24-year-old making it clear he will not be signing an extension, Crystal Palace will not stand in their captain's way of a summer exit. Capped 23 times by his country and now considered a first choice for the Three Lions, it is easy to see why a player of Guehi's standing is in such high demand. That has led to strong suggestions that a move to Anfield is on the cards, and with Liverpool looking to replace Jarell Quansah following his initial £30 million move to Bayer Leverkusen, our reporter Rudy Galletti revealed last month that the Reds were close to reaching an agreement on personal terms with Guehi. Despite that, Liverpool's apparent attempts to lowball Palace with an opening offer are likely to be met with a warm response, with the Eagles understandably eager to hold out for their current £45 million to £50 million, up to €58 million, $68 million, valuation. With transfer talks at Anfield temporarily placed on hold as the club struggles to come to terms with their tragic loss of Diogo Jota last week, who was killed in a car crash, the transfer door appears to have swung open for Newcastle to make their move, and a new report claims they retain a strong belief a deal for Guehi is within their sights. Having been given the here we go for the capture of Anthony Elanga in a £55 million deal from Nottingham Forest, Give Me Sport claim that Newcastle remain hopeful of winning the race to sign Guehi, as the board will prioritise the addition of a centre-back after landing the Sweden winger. They claim that Newcastle are refusing to give up on striking a deal for Guehi, without sniffing an opportunity to pounce for a cut price fee due to an awareness that the Eagles will not want to run the risk of him leaving as a free agent at the end of the upcoming season. Despite claims Newcastle are looking to sniff out a cut price deal, we understand that Crystal Palace are refusing to bow to any sort of fee lower than their current valuation. That's because they believe, with at least two sides keen on his signing, coupled with the fact that there are still 54 days left in the transfer window, there remains time to achieve their asking price. That was also the reason why that talk of a lowball Liverpool offer, aimed at discovering Palace's stance on the sale, was always likely to be met with a hefty refusal from the London club. Former Newcastle winger Chris Waddle also believes that the Magpies, who have also been linked with Guehi, will need to spend a lot of cash this summer if they are to prize either player from the Eagles. Waddle said in June. That might have been straightforward at one point, but now Crystal Palace have won the FA Cup and they're in the Europa League. They'll have a decent amount of money coming in, but yes, in Mark Guehi and Guehi, they've got two players who will be getting a lot of attention this summer. Palace have to work out if they want to sell and try to spend what they got in a way that improves them, or they'll try to hold on to at least one of them and kick on next season. It's up to them to work out which way they want to go. People will question Palace's ambition after they won the FA Cup and got into Europe. They need to add to their squad, so if they start selling it makes the job of rebuilding doubly hard, and if it goes wrong, they risk a relegation dogfight. Of course, Newcastle need a centre-half and they have money to spend, but to get either Guehi or Ease out of Selhurst Park is going to cost any team a lot of cash. Ease makes choice. Kane done at Liverpool, Longstaff's Newcastle exit. On the subject of Ease, the in-demand Palace playmaker is understood to have made clear to his agents where he would like to be playing his football next season amid claims Liverpool are looking to hijack Arsenal's move and with two big obstacles now standing in the Gunners' path. Meanwhile, Liverpool's wishes to sign Guehi could also be attributed to the ongoing situation surrounding Ibrahima Konate. Now a new report claims the Frenchman has made it clear he would like to join Real Madrid if he were to leave Anfield this summer, after another new contract rejection sparked growing talk that his Anfield career is now over. Luis Diaz also appears to have opened up the pathway to leaving Anfield this summer, with the Colombian attacker now offering a worrying update on his future amid strong new claims of a move to Barcelona. Over at Newcastle, the Magpies are considering an improved third offer from Leeds United for Sean Longstaff, and with the midfielder having already agreed personal terms to join the Premier League New Boys. Thanks for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.